Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Anti-Gravity Room. It's time for some more unboxings. We were able to get it. We finally made it, guys. We were able to get our hands on one of each of the starter decks of the Final Fantasy card game. This game just came out here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It is hot. It is hot as fuck. There's basically nowhere you can get starters or boosters. Troll and Toad sold out. Cool Stuff sold out. 401 Games in Canada sold out. Everywhere. eBay, these starter decks are going for like $50 each right now, which is fucking insanity. These ones are like literally super new. They haven't even got their holes punched at the top here. But we're going to open up one of these every day for you. We can check out the game. Then we're going to have some matches up throughout the week. And yeah, we really want to try this game. I think it's like it's like a few years old in Japan, but it's finally coming over here. We'll see how it does. I don't know if it's going to do that well, to be honest. Final Fantasy is kind of a niche market. And there's a lot of card games right now. And it's very similar to Force of Will, and Force of Will is already popular here anyway. I'm super into it, though. I'm super stoked. Of these three, I was kind of hoping for a Squall Slider, but of these three, Tidus is my boy here. But we're going to do one a day. I guess we'll start at the lowest. We'll go Final Fantasy VII, then we'll go 10, and then 13. And yeah, let's see what we get here. Let's see what these things are made up of. I've never even looked at the starter list. I know the cards in the game, and I know what's good, but I actually don't know what the starter set specifically contains. There's the back of the box if you wanted to take a look at this quickly. Contents: 50 card pre-constructed deck, game mat, and quick starter guide. Ages 13 plus. As you see, quite rightfully so, it has Europe before North America, because it is definitely a more popular franchise over there. I like the look of the box, first off. I just want to enjoy this. That's very nice. Alright, let's get it cracked open here, guys. Little tiny piece of tape that breaks into 30 pieces of tape. Those are my favorite. And it's on both sides. What, that's, you know the tape I'm talking about, Lex?
I do.
It sucks. Alright. Leave a comment if you know what kind of tape I'm talking about. It's the worst. Okay. I wrecked the top of that box cracking it open. I'm going to try and keep it nice. Fuck it! Alright. So it comes in this little starter deck container that most do. It's got an extra piece of tape to irritate, which most games do not. There we go. So you get a little oh my goodness, you get a little starter guide here. What is the Final Fantasy TCG? Oh my goodness. An exciting card game where characters of Final Fantasy must fight. Deck construction. And it's just got the rules of like how to win, types and elements. I'm just going to leave these up here quickly, and then if you want to pause it, you totally can. Summoning. This game works basically like Magic and Force of Will kind of combined. How to play a card using the required crystal points. Tapping they call dulling. Discarding to pay for resources. All that jazz. There's important points. Light and dark characters. Special trace, haste, first strike, vigilance. It's called brave in this though. Search, freeze, you know all this stuff. If you're a Magic player or a Force of Will player, this game is easy to pick up on for you. And then there's a reverse side with a bunch more rules for field zones. Flow of the game. Setting up the game. Active phase, draw phase, all this stuff that I'm sure there's actually a good tutorial for online, which I will leave the link in the description for that below. But anyways, that's the rules. You get the gist here. You get this little field, which this piece of tape is ruining my whole fucking life. Get out of here, tape! It's stuck to my fucking finger. My life. It's ruined. And this is the mat you get. It's definitely not as cool as the mats that I've seen, which is just a cover of Final Fantasy VI. But yeah, it has the turn structure written on there. It has your field zones. It has where your deck and discard pile and break zone and this and that go. And then on the reverse side, it has... Ooh, here we go. Here's the deck lists for each deck. So today we're doing the Final Fantasy VII deck. So in it, there's the list of what you will get and their brief description of the deck. And the goal is to use Jesse or Zhang Ganz to bring forward your key cards to win the game. And then there's the Final Fantasy X deck and its cards. Take advantage of Mulligan to play Yuno onto the field as soon as possible. And then the 13 deck and its strategies. Being able to deal damage and pressure your opponents early on. And there's little tips at the bottom for what would help from boosters for each deck as well, similar to how Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that in its inserts. So, we know the list, but let's check it out up close and in the flesh. Here is the Final Fantasy VII deck. Wow, one thing I can tell you right away, holy fuck. These are nice fucking cards. Like, these are nice fucking cards. I can see why they're $7 for a booster pack. These are like, can you hear it? It's like an actual hard plastic. It's almost like the shit that they use in like Pokemon or Magic Elite trainer boxes is like dividers. Like those thick kind of plasticky cardboard kind of dividers things, if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like a thinner version of that material, but these, like, you could fucking drop these on the floor and they will not be all fucked up like some other card games. I really appreciate good quality. You just don't get that anymore. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards are literally made of shit. Like, you can drop them on the floor and they're fucked, like scuffed in the corner, peeling at the top. It's fucked up. So it's really nice and refreshing to have a good level of quality to this kind of thing, and I appreciate it as a consumer. Just saying, Square Enix. So we get this Cloud Forward card to start, which is pretty sweet. 3 of him, and he's the 6-cost Cloud. Get a little picture of his face there. He's a forward. The cost required to play Cloud onto the field is reduced by 1 for each Final Fantasy VII forward you control. And each time a forward you control attacks, it gains plus 1,000. So that means he's instantly 10,000, if it's including himself. And I can discard him and pay the cost to choose 1 forward and just instantly deal it 8,000 damage. That's pretty cool. 3 clouds in the deck. I also appreciate that they don't give you this one of each card bullshit, so you're required to buy like 4 of the same starter deck, because that's fucking horseshit. I don't care. I realize they want to sell product, but just make better cards and boosters, and I'll buy more boosters. Like, I don't want to buy the same starter deck 4 fucking times. Yu-Gi-Oh's the worst for that, and in Magic, some certain cards that are dual deck exclusives, it's like, fuck you. Anyway, that's my little rant about that. You get some Zhang Ganz, which is probably one of the better cards in the deck. I think he's awesome. He's a backup, so he's a mana generator. He costs 4. And then if you happen to flip this up when you're taking damage, you can search for you get this effect for free, and then you can search for 1 Tifa card and just add it to your hand, which is pretty dope. And all Tifas gain haste. Oh, you get 3 Zhang Ganz, not 2. I apologize, they were sticky. 3 of the good Tifa. This Tifa is quite good, I think. Definitely one of the better cards you're going to get in the starter deck here. She just has 8,000 for 4, which is average, pretty solid. But then you can just pitch her for her special, and you can just choose 1 forward, tap it, and deal it 6,000. So that's pretty crazy. So not only can it not block, it might also die if it's shitty. So Tifa's pretty good. You get 3 Bahamut Fury, pardon me. And Bahamut Fury is also pretty good. It's 2 costs, and then you can choose a forward, discard a card from your hand, and if you do, deal 7,000 damage. and if you don't discard the card, deal 5,000. So it gives you the option of having to go higher to kill something. But my opinion is, if you're gonna kill something at 5, you're gonna kill it. There's not that many creatures in the game that are 6,000 or 7,000. It's either they're low or they're high. Like they're 5 or 4 or 5 or 6, or they're like 8, 9, 10. Like the 7 and 6s are not as high. Definitely not as high in this game. You get 3 red 13s. 7,000. That's hilarious. When he enters the field, you choose 1 forward, and he backs them up by giving them 3,000 extra points just the second he comes on the field, which is pretty crazy. And then if you deal and pay a shit ton, you can deal 6,000 to all forwards your opponent controls, which is pretty good. It's like a little Regeki / Rafagod in there, a miniature one though. Ifrits, just simple. This is probably one of the better spells in the deck. I like it. It's simple. 1 cost, 4 grand, done, and it's free if you get it flipped up from damage. You get 2 black mages, which are supports, and you can put black mage into your break zone and choose 1 forward to deal it 4,000 damage. You get 2 evoker, which are just literally nothing. They're just vanilla standard mana generators. You get 2 samurai, which are basically just the same thing but forwards. They're just vanilla forwards with 6,000 for the price. And then you get 2 magus. So he's pretty cool. He's a mana generator, but he's 1 more expensive than the average mana generator, but that's because when he hits the field, you hit for 3k on all of your opponent's shit. So if they have any like low win things like Zidane or that kind of shit, you can just pop them quickly. Squires, and then you get, now we're on to the earth shit. That's it for the fire. The earth shit, we got Vincent, one of my favorite characters from Final Fantasy. I think he's a badass. And when he attacks, you can gain first strike until the end of the turn. It's alright. Wedge. Wedge is one of the cooler cards, if I remember correctly. When he enters the field, yeah, you can search for 1 Biggs and just throw it in your hand, which is pretty cool. Do we have Biggs in here? Yeah. So you grab Wedge, and then you search for Biggs, and then what Biggs does is when he enters the field, or sorry, when anything, any backup is put from the field onto the zone. So anytime any backup is destroyed from then on, you deal 1,000 damage to all forwards. So once you start activating and pitching backups, like there's one that lets you ditch for an effect, the fire guy, and your opponent thinks about destroying it, they're going to instantly take 1,000 penalty, which will put them in the range for all of your Ifrits. Like that 5,000 card, if you're dealing 1,000 to it, like you have the difference. You don't have to discard that card. Plus, if you were dealing 7,000 to it, that extra 1,000 will help you kill the stronger guys. I think he's a solid support. I like supports when they do effects for sure. And Jessie's really good too. When she enters the field, you can search for any Final Fantasy VII forward and add it to your hand. So it's literally a +1. You got to play 3 Jessie if you're playing Earth. She's fucking phenomenal. Barrett. You got 3 Barrett operatives, and his is pretty cool. You can just ditch for his special to deal 2,000. Not bad. And he's a 2 for 6. So like he's not bad. You get 2 Dark Knights, 2 Black Belt, basically vanillas. You get 2 Golem. I've never even seen this card. Choose 1 forward. It gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. If it's blocked, it gains 4,000 power at the end of the turn. So it's just a spell card for 1. I guess it's okay. It's like those shitty 1 mana +1/+1 instants in Magic. It's okay. And then you get 2 Monk. Monk's kind of neat. His special ability is put Monk in the break zone, and then you can choose 1 forward and give it plus 2,000 power, but it's instant, and I think people might forget about it. Like, it's not great, but yeah, that's everything that you're getting. It's solid. It's okay. It's pretty solid. There's cards you're definitely going to want to take. Like, you're going to take your 3 Jesse, your Barretts. You're going to want to take, your Ifrits, your Tifas, your Zhang Ganz, and maybe your Clouds. I don't know, whatever you're feeling. But there's definitely a good maybe 20 cards in here that are competitive that you're going to want to pull out of the starter deck, which is pretty cool. So that is all for this starter deck, the Final Fantasy VII starter deck for the Final Fantasy card game. If you like the video, make sure to give it the thumbs up, and then we'll do more Final Fantasy coverage. We got to know that you guys want it. So let us know if you like the Final Fantasy stuff. Tune in later on this week. We're also going to be opening the other 2 decks, and we'll have a couple games, explain the basics, and go from there. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.